The Donut Bag is brought to you by Penn Highway Marketplace, the marketplace for vintage goods, quality collectibles, and handmade crafts. It's where I get all my sports memorabilia. Go to facebook.com/Penn Highway. That's facebook.com/PENNHWY and mention I sent you. We're back, baby! Finally!
Woo!
Finally, we got through the non-football part of the year.
Yeah.
And we got to the important stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so exciting. Everything's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really been dragging for like the past couple of weeks. It's been rough.
Oh gosh. I mean, I know there's football stories going on all the time, but still, it was rough.
Same.
It was rough. You know, he's like,
it's not the same.
So-and-so thinks Kenny Pickett. Like, shut up. I don't want to hear about this. I want real news.
If Kenny Pickett hadn't gotten married, I don't know how I would have been able to live through this offseason.
Right. That was a big article for me on Kenny Pickett's wedding. That got me some reads.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
Yeah, I did one about him not going to the Taylor Swift concert, and I was shocked that people read it. But then I was like, I think Taylor Swift people read it too. Do you know what I mean? Like, It wasn't just Steelers fans. I think I got some Swifties in there too.
Some Swifties.
They're like, what's this jagoff saying about Taylor Swift? Okay, she's not okay, she's okay with us.
So somebody told me that's what they're called. So Swifties.
Yeah.
Swifties. I'm a Swiftie. I really like Taylor Swift. Yeah. I think my daughter is like the maybe about like the number one Taylor Swift. I think she's the number one fan in the world.
Did you go to the show?
No, I couldn't get
how can
tickets.
You be the number one fan and not go to the show?
It's outrageous.
Okay. She's the number one fan, but her dad does not have that kind of pull or cash to be
money.
Yeah, the number one fan money.
He doesn't want to donate a kidney or anything. I mean,
right.
I think I'd have to donate more than a kidney for those tickets. But yeah, that was an insane event.
Yeah, I'm not like so into her music, but I have so much admiration for what she does. You know, like fighting against Ticketmaster and all of those things. Like huge admiration for her for speaking out and trying to help fix what's a really bad system.
When she came through, she came for 2 nights in the beginning of June. It was like when Florida gets a hurricane warning.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, everybody stay in place, board up your windows. They're all coming. It's all coming in. Just prepare for it. Like downtown evacuated because it was just all 100,000.
I saw the pictures. It was crazy.
Fans. Yeah,
it was crazy.
They took over.
The Swifties.
And there's a lot of really popular bands, but you don't see like them have that kind of following like she does. Do you know what I mean? I go to a lot of concerts and shows, and you just don't see even other really popular bands have the kind of pull that she has, where people like go sit in the street just to like overhear the concert.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they stayed outside of the stadium just so they can listen to it. It's crazy.
I saw people in their boats on the river, like so they could hear. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's a force. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, she's amazing. Unfortunately, there's nobody on the Steelers that's a Taylor Swift of football. I think the Taylor Swift of football is Mahomes. Unfortunately, did you see that quarterback show?
No, I haven't seen it yet. But Kenny's going to be on it next year. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that.
Kenny and Josh Allen and a couple, I think Justin Herbert. Supposed to be big names on next year.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really well done. It's just, it's just following them around and yeah, it's, it's on my list. They did Mahomes, Kirk Cousins and Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
And it was just really, here's how good it was. Like they were showing Mahomes play the Chiefs when they played, I think the Raiders, and the one dude for the Raiders, Max Crosby, was like, he would take chances to just punch him whenever he could, just sneak in a punch or something like that. And I got so upset. I'm like, go get him, Mahomes, go get him. Like, oh, this already happened, but still, go get him, man.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was actually rooting for him, but
And wasn't Mariota? I'm sure it was interesting because wasn't he the starter at the beginning of the season and then got pulled or something?
okay,
Right?
I don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, he was the starter. He
Right.
got pulled. He left the team, and they
Yeah.
really didn't. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I
Oh.
went to the bathroom when they were talking about it. But it's like now his wife did have a baby at the time, but still, what happened? You left the team.
Right. Yeah. That's not cool.
They just
they
kind of glossed over it.
They didn't really address that. That was weird.
Right. Right. It's because it wasn't
Yeah.
Hard Knocks. It's quarterbacks. It's
Yeah.
not Hard Knocks.
Right.
I don't know.
That's why.
I don't know. Anyway, what are we looking forward to the most in this Steelers training camp?
Everything.
Really, everything.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah,
many things.
everything.
I guess the the left tackle position, you know what I mean? That's probably the biggest one because you want to see, since we used such a high pick on him and we made the trade with New England to get him, you want to see him win the job. But if he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, I guess whatever. I don't even know what to say
Hard
about
time
that.
with that. Like half my brain is like, it doesn't matter. Like he's a rookie. Do you know what I mean? Like if Dan Moore Jr. is doing a better job, then he should have the job and nobody should be upset about it. And then the other half of me is like, he was our first round draft pick. He needs to get his butt out in the field and win that starting job. Do you know what I mean? So I'm conflicted about that one. I want to see him succeed.
I'm telling you, you start him right away. Here's why.
Yeah.
If he was going up against somebody good, like let's say the battle was between him and Chooks. Chooks isn't great, but he's okay.
Right.
Then you say, okay, we'll see whoever wins, whoever sees who's better, and whoever starts or whatever. But it's Dan Moore, dude. Get him out there.
Yeah.
They keep saying how much Dan Moore improved, but I'm like, when your floor was like, sub-basement 3, do you know what I mean? Like you've like making an improvement is not the improvement other players make. Like you look at like Alex Highsmith and the improvements he makes each season. Like he has a good season and then makes like a major improvement the next season. And you're like, whoa, like Dan Moore's never given anybody the whoa moment, that he's not doing that. So to me, I feel like it can't be that. I get that there's people that want him to win the job and he's tried so hard and he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's delightful, but it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? No different than how I feel about Mason. Like whoever the best player is, it should be the player who wins. It's not that Mason's a bad guy. It's not that Dan Moore's a bad guy. It's not personal.
Yeah, it's not personal. I agree with all that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, he might be a nice dude, but nice doesn't win in the trenches.
Yeah.
Mean wins in the trenches.
Yeah.
And Broderick Jones is like a mean mofo.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll invite Dan Moore when we're having a Pictionary tournament or something like that, or if we're playing Uno or something like that. But I don't want to tackle.
Yeah, I'm tired. I mean, he's been there. He's had his shot.
Speaking of Alex Highsmith, it is so cool that he got his extension.
Huge.
I didn't know this about him. Basically, from when he started playing, nobody gave him a chance. I've never heard of he was a 0-star recruit.
Zero.
I've never even heard of 0-star.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody wanted him. He had to earn it through it. And even with the Steelers, 3rd round draft pick. Nobody gave him a chance. I remember a couple seasons ago when they got Melvin Ingram, and I guarantee, we saw what happened. Melvin Ingram thought, who the heck's Alex Highsmith? Of course I'm going to beat out this dude, and he didn't.
He's a nobody. Yeah, no, it's unbelievable how hard he works. I know we've talked about it. Allison and I had him on the show, and we had his dad on the show, and talked a lot about how much that like chip on his shoulder like fuels just everything he does. He went into college like that with nobody believing he would be able to do anything as a walk-on, and then became like their most valuable defensive player by the time he left.
Yep.
Your show being House of Yinzer?
Yes. House of Yinzer, yes. At Steelers Yinzer on Twitter.
On X. Yeah, on X.
Oh, I might still a bird. Why do some people have an X and I have a bird?
Oh, you still have a bird?
I still have the bird. What do you have, Joe?
I got an X, and it's the stupidest thing ever because
Nobody likes
X
me.
is right next to the X of a window. Like
Oh.
what are we doing? This is the stupidest thing
Right.
I've ever seen. What
I
are
don't
we
really understand the point of the rebrands like this. It doesn't
No.
make any sense to me. Like there's a whole lingo that's embedded in using Twitter with tweets
Right.
and all of these things that are embedded into that process. And it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's like HBO going from HBO to Max. I mean, HBO
Right.
has been HBO for decades.
It's
Right.
You know what I
like
mean?
Which
Like,
makes
it's
me
like
think it's
it's
Cinemax.
iconic.
it's like
But that's
yeah,
just me
really.
thinking
Yes.
Cinemax.
And when I think of when I think of
Right.
Cinemax, I think of
Mhm.
Skinemax. But
Right.
it's like when Heinz Field went to Acrisure.
Right.
I still call it Heinz Field, and I'm still
Yeah.
going to call it Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person I know that doesn't have the X. People were talking about it all over social media. I'm like, I even checked to see if like I needed an update or something. Mine's still
Right.
a bird.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. What do you? What instead of tweeting, do you X? Like what?
That's the thing. I was reading that you still use tweet. I read just yesterday that you still call it tweet, and I was
It
like,
just
well,
doesn't make
then
any sense. Then why are we
It
even
does
doing
not.
this?
It
Right.
does not make any
It
sense at
doesn't,
all.
no.
It's
It's the worst.
so silly.
I'm waiting for Threads to take over, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be very
Oh,
difficult. It's sort
man,
of like
I'm
the XFL
trying.
and the NFL. Like it's not ever gonna.
You know what? Right now, Threads is the XFL. Like there are
Right,
few
yeah.
people. There's a few people are using it.
Mhm.
By the way, Pittsburgh Maulers shirt, top notch, man. That's awesome. How cool
Thank
is
you.
that?
Thank you.
Almost champion Pittsburgh Maulers.
Right.
Almost champion Pittsburgh Maulers. Very excited.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Although I haven't been up to a Maulers game, and then somebody told me that they don't even play in Pittsburgh. Is that true?
No, they don't. They
They
play in like
Cleveland or something.
I want to say it's like Alabama or something.
They
Oh,
played.
that's even
They
worse.
played every team played all their games in Alabama 2 years ago, but this past season, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, I gotta find out about that.
Let's see, Pittsburgh Muller Stadium. Oh, yeah. See, it's located in Canton, Ohio. They
Oh,
play at
okay.
the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton,
Oh,
Ohio. For
okay.
the 2023 season.
Interesting.
Okay. Well,
Weird.
yeah.
Like Ohio, like Ohio of all
Right.
states. Like,
The armpit of America.
yeah,
I can say that I'm from there.
yeah. But I mean, even still, like that's our like arch nemesis. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like Cincy
Guys.
and Cleveland. Why would we be there?
I got room in my backyard. You guys want to the Maulers? You want to come over? You want? I'll host. I'll call. But then I got what do I call it? Bag of donuts fields or something like that.
Right,
Yes.
there you go.
The donut dome.
Right. We can call the restaurant the Donut Hole instead of like the watering hole.
I want to know. I when people say what's the biggest weakness on the team right now, and everybody says inside linebacker, I want to know how this is going to shake out. You got 2 new players there. You still got what Robinson? Who knows what he might do? Is Cole Holcomb healthy?
Mhm.
I think that's a big question mark.
Yeah, I totally agree because we have 2 guys that never took it down in the black and gold. You know, we have Mark Robinson, and apparently they're saying that Mark Robinson isn't really in the competition to be a starter this year. I don't know how true that is or whatever, but it's like, he's the only one who has experience in the system, and it's only 1 year. But I think that goes a long way to, it says a lot that if Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts, who are presumed to win the positions, get it, it's kind of says, what does that say about Mark Robinson? You know what I mean? Although they have a ton more experience than he does, but it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I tried to put like my positive spin on this and say that like what we had last year was not a good inside linebacker situation. It's not like we had something that was like so great and we've lost it. And now we're all, sad that it's gone and we don't know who these new guys are. What we had was bad. So maybe this is like the breath of fresh air that we needed to help kind of overhaul that room. I almost prefer the effort of the overhaul than keeping all those guys around that weren't performing at a top level, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a learning curve for sure.
Well, I wonder if it's a difference in philosophy, because we're going all the way back to Ryan Shazier.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we had our guy and he was awesome. And like the whole defense ran through him. but then he got hurt, and then all hell broke loose, and it all fell apart. And then they tried to chase that Shazier high with Devin Bush, and that didn't work. So okay, you know what? That it's not going to work. You're not going to find that all awesome dude that's going to do that. So okay, maybe just get some solid guys, and depend on your other awesome players to do well. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I don't, Ryan Shazier at this point would be retired. I mean, like you can't keep hanging your hat on like what we wish would have happened with Shazier. It's terrible. It was tragic, but this isn't like the 1700s and we're not in mourning. Like we need to like move on with this now and come up with something that works. Do you know what I mean? And same about Bush. Like it was really sad that whatever went wrong with him, whether it was like not recovering from an injury or whether he was just whatever you call it, like a draft bust, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. The reality is it happened, and we just need to like move on and figure out, something new that works. So I appreciate that at least we're overhauling instead of trying to band-aid the garbage we had last year into somehow half-ass working this year.
Mm-hmm. I am sort of surprised that we didn't like keep Miles Jack and maybe try and, renegotiate him down or whatever, but I think he's still unsigned. I don't think he's
seriously. I think he's done. Yeah.
I think
so. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. The secondary, just in general, there's a lot of changes there. Is Joey Porter going to start right away? Is it going to be? Is it going to be Levi Wallace? What's Patrick Peterson going to do? We got a new strong safety, whoever it's going to be. A lot of changes in that secondary, and Joey Porter just signed, so that's not a problem.
Good.
Yeah, that is really good for sure.
I knew he would, but it was glad to just get it out of the way so we could stop talking about it. I didn't want to go into camp with him unsigned.
So that Ray Fittipaldo from the Post-Gazette has his chat every Tuesday afternoon. Half the questions were, oh my God, what if Joey Porter doesn't sign? What if Joey Porter doesn't sign?
And he even tweeted, I think, like 5 minutes before they made the announcement that they signed him, that what if he's a holdout? And then like literally 5 minutes later, they end up saying that
what if he's a holdout? Well, he won't be. They don't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's not a thing.
I can't see him ever holding out. Even if he hadn't signed, I just can't see him doing that.
I just don't see him doing that. I had this argument with somebody yesterday because I wound up doing something about how Will Levis had signed his contract and then Porter still hadn't signed his. And somebody was like, did one of those like where they're talking about you, but they pretend like they're not talking about you in a tweet. And they were like, and then people are going to write about this like this is news. People need to relax. And the thing is that I think some people are talking about it to like dramatize it and make it some big deal. But I think some other people legitimately don't realize like why he wouldn't have signed yet. You know what I mean? And I think there was I talked to several people yesterday who had never thought about the fact that he really was almost like a first round pick and like would his agent try to argue for that? And they were like, oh, I never thought of that.
He was the 32nd overall pick.
Right. I think
in any other draft that would have been a first rounder.
Right. Which gives him that like 5th year option. And you know what I mean? And so, there's, I think a bonus might be a little bit bigger. So there was some talk about like, was that what was taking so long, and who knows whether it was or wasn't. Right. Maybe it was just what it was. But
speculated that's what it was.
But there's like some legitimate reasons. Like just because he hadn't signed yet doesn't mean that he's like holding out or he's being difficult or he, people were acting like he was being a diva and stuff. Yeah, it's not necessarily like everything isn't necessarily that. Sometimes there's like legitimate business reasons.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. That was probably the argument. It's like, I'm a first round pick. It's like, no, you're not. It's like, well, yeah, I am. Well, technically you're not. Well, technically, yeah, I am. It's like, maybe that was it for weeks and weeks. I don't know.
For weeks. Who knows?
And then, he's obviously his dad is Joey Porter, and Joey Porter is from all those, 2000s teams. It's like, don't make me get Troy Polamalu involved in this. I'll call Ike Taylor right now. Brett Keatsel, where are you? Get over here.
Right.
But in the same token, the Dolphins hadn't been forced to forfeit their pick, he would have been a 33rd pick, right?
Yeah.
Well, unless they took him at 32, which they could.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's also right. But yeah, I mean, it could have gone, both ways. But either way, yeah, I mean,
He's a
I don't
second
know
round
that
pick. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter what you call it. You know what I mean? He's a
Right.
second round pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's going to stink. Let's say he's really good 4 years from now. You can't do that 50-year option. That's going to stink.
No.
Right. It stinks. And that part of it really does stink. But you know what? If he's really good and it's, the Steelers want to keep him and it's a good fit, they'll find a way to keep him.
What was the deal? Like 4 years, 10 million or something like that?
Yeah,
Or
about
9
10
million
million
or something like that.
Almost 9.7
You know
or
what?
9.6, something like that.
He could get extra cheese on his Whopper. He's doing
okay.
fine.
He'll be okay.
He could
his
that.
signing bonus was all up front, and he's got the first 3 years are guaranteed. So
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
He get the premium gasoline and that 93 octane. I don't even think about getting that stuff. Another thing I'm really excited to see is the wide receivers. Allen Robinson and this Calvin Austin. We finally get to see Calvin Austin. I heard Patrick Peterson say is like in minicamp was like, this dude blew by me. This dude just this guy's a burner.
He said he cooked him.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited, Pickens' second year.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, that's that. Hopefully, I mean, we're all thinking the same thing. It was either Joey Porter going to hold out, or what the heck are we still doing with Matt Canada? Like it's a bad dream. It's like Matt Canada is still here.
Right.
Yeah. If Pickens learned a little bit about running routes in the offseason, he's going to be phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, really, he's going to be like leaps and bounds above what he was his first year.
Yeah. And I think something Allison brings up a lot is that like last offseason, Kenny Pickett was going into this as QB2, so he wasn't taking all those first team reps. So how much more beneficial will it be for him with his wide receiving core to be there all of training camp as QB1? Do you know what I mean? With all of those opportunities and connections. I think that, obviously Pickett's done a lot of work this offseason. The receivers have done a lot of work this offseason. And you put that all together at training camp with all those guys knowing, roughly who's starting. And I think that's going to be a real benefit.
Yeah, I think that'll be huge. That and Kenny wearing the helmet cam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty neat.
He's wearing a helmet cam?
Yeah. He's got a little camera on the side of his helmet.
Camera.
At least he was doing it during OTAs. I don't know if he's going to do it.
No way.
During training camp.
Interesting.
And then he was watching the film. He was kind of dissecting it with Minka Fitzpatrick after practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Right, because who better than to do it with than with a guy from in the secondary? You know what
well,
I mean?
And I heard he was asking like Minka to put it on and wear it so that he can see what Minka saw. Do you know what I mean? Like from his perspective, to be able to try to like look. He's so smart. Like look at it from both angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's huge that he gets to play with the ones. But yeah, a year ago we were saying, okay, we'll give Mitch the first chance, and then eventually it'll be Kenny, but yeah, he's this time it's definitely Kenny. He's going to play with the ones, and there's no doubt about that. And I think that's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
I'm also the big question in for fantasy football people is Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. Is that going to be like a 50-50 split, or is it? I think this is a huge year for Najee Harris.
Yeah.
I still think maybe they give more touches to Warren than he had last year, but I don't think it's going to be, I don't feel like it's going to be a 50-50 split at all. I still think it's going to be Najee's.
I agree.
Be the bell cow.
Right.
I agree. And then who's the number 3 guy? There's no more Benny Snell football.
Right. Yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if McFarland doesn't win it, my goodness, what does that say?
Bro, I'm so tired
20
of him.
years? You know what I mean?
So I am too, though. Every time I see his name, I'm like, he's still in the Steelers. I'm like, hasn't it been since like, didn't he play with Neil O'Donnell? I'm like, he's been here forever. Like, how is this possible?
Oh, poor Aunt Mac.
I know.
Yeah. It's Darius Haggins, I guess, and Alfonso Graham are in there with him. So And it would be
And-
kind of a cool story if, you know, and you had a UDFA like Warren, you know what I mean, ended up winning the number 3 job and, you know, kick McFarland to the practice squad or whatever. But
This
it'll
is
be
it.
There's a
interesting.
legitimate shot of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is it for McFarland. It's like,
Yeah.
put up or shut up, dude.
Has to be. Yeah.
I'm just so annoyed because like the minute McFarland made the team or was on the team, I'm like, yes, that guy's gonna
Me
be
too.
awesome. And
Yeah.
boy, did he make me look bad.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. All of us. All of us. But then he would do something in a game and he would have like a good game or like a good series or some great plays. And you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
there it
and
is. And then
he'd be like,
no.
psych. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you gonna
The
do?
defensive line also, that's going to be really interesting how that shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
is it going to be like the Eagles and they're just going to rotate people all the time? I mean, oh gosh, just everybody, please stay healthy. Please
Right.
stay healthy.
Yes.
I really want to.
myself like internally so excited for us to do like really cool stuff on the defense where, like you said, we're rotating players in, you know what I mean? We're doing like new things we haven't done before. We're coming up with all these exciting looks, you know, using like Patrick Peterson as like this hybrid player and all of these things. I've got myself really worked up for it. So I hope I'm not like terribly disappointed.
Yeah. Like when Matt Canada took over as OC in the first season, we were all like, oh, there's gonna be all this offense is just going to be blowing our minds. It's going to be so amazing and so creative and so innovative.
Oh,
Wait
till you see those jet sweeps. They're going to be awesome. We're going to love them.
It was the worst. Yeah.
It blew your mind, all right, just not the way you wanted it to.
Right.
God.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, please don't do that to us.
Right. Please don't.
He is mind blowing in a bad way.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like, how is this happening? How am I in this situation right now? It's just funny how we Steeler fans think of the team one way and everybody outside of Pittsburgh thinks of them a whole different way.
Yeah.
They basically think everything sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because I think this is a way better team than last year.
Oh yeah.
It is. It has to be. It is.
Yeah.
It just has to be.
People saying that we're going to be worse than last year. I'm like, I just don't understand how they see that. Like, I feel like they're at least going to be as good or but they have to be a little bit better. You would think so. But it's like, how can you be worse? How can you improve that much?
Well, like what was the Vegas odds? Like 9 wins?
Right.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Right.
It's crazy.
It's all on paper. We haven't seen all these improvements
sure.
in game action, but it's like, how can you look that much better anyway? And then not produce a better, record. I just don't see how that's even possible.
Well, if you just went off of like how we were getting so much better every week, like at the end of last year, and like those areas that were really weak, I feel like we went out this off season and kind of fixed some of those problems. So I don't understand anybody that thinks we're going to be worse.
Yeah.
Seems like just based on that alone, we have to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, the whole thing with Kenny Pickett, he wasn't that good. Look at his number. If you just look at numbers,
right? Yeah, exactly.
There's so much more to it than that. My goodness.
Yeah. It wasn't like if it was like his third year and he was doing that squat, you know what I mean? Like that's you know what I mean? It's a different story, but come on. Dude,
there's also lots of issues that weren't his. Do you know what I mean? That were the wide receivers, that were the running backs, that were the offensive line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was Matt Canada.
Matt Canada, yeah.
Right, yeah. A lot of different
all
factors
of those things.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, he didn't have training wheels on. He had like chains on. Presley Harvin might be losing his job.
I was just going to say that. We hadn't talked about the punter.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the punter and the kicker.
He's got competition coming in. Yep.
Is it going to be? It could be Calvin Austin, or is Gunner gonna keep that job? That'll be interesting. I mean, that's an interesting battle.
Yeah. If Calvin Austin is 90% of what they say he is, he has to be your return guy. How do you not have somebody that's that fast? You have to have him returning balls. How could you not?
Right. Yeah. And you can't keep him in a bubble. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you've gotta let him loose.
Right.
Sure. I hope Gunner's gone. Gunner's annoying.
Yeah. Not feeling it. Sorry,
Well,
Gunnar.
I mean, he
Right.
had one job. He had one job, and he's a double agent for the Patriots.
Right, exactly.
You mean to tell
What it
me
feels like.
the dude that was he's a kick return specialist, and the only time he screwed up was against his old team.
Right.
Hmm.
Seems suspect.
Yeah, suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna, and then there was gonna be someone out of nowhere, like Jalen Warren last year. Jalen Warren
Yeah.
basically came out of nowhere. Some dude out of nowhere is going to be awesome. I'm calling it now, Monty Pottenbaum.
The fullback, he's gonna be
fullback.
That's it.
He's gonna be the Jalen
breakout
Warren of
star.
2023.
Because you know they love to use that fullback. So
Oh yeah.
in the tradition of Derek Watt, they really.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a mullet too? Doesn't he have a mullet like
I think he
Cole Holcomb
does.
or something? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got the mullet thing
Yeah.
going on. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just the name alone. I think I'm gonna get a jersey.
Love it.
I'm gonna go to China and get one of those potent bottom jerseys.
Yeah, just to have it. That's awesome.
I want to see a Perry Bomb shirt down in
Perry
Strip
Bomb.
District. Yeah. Mullet power.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
No
I'm
question.
so excited. So what do you guys got going on in House of Yinzer this year?
Yeah. Well,
Who
I
you
mean,
bringing?
who knows, right? I mean,
You're gonna get Kenny Pickett. You're gonna get
Oh yeah, we're gonna get Kenny Pickett, no doubt.
get the whole bridal
yeah.
party.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Tomorrow, on tomorrow's show, we actually there's a really cool technology that the Steelers just installed in their weight room called Perch. And apparently it's some AI kind of crazy stuff that, helps them work out and helps them keep track and helps them tell them what they're doing wrong and what they're supposed to do, all that good jazz.
It does like biometrics while they work out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it like analyzes
Analytics.
everything they do, and then it sends like data, and the coaches, the training staff, and the player can use that
Right.
data to like drive improving player performance or improve their workouts.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Exactly.
Use AI
Right.
to be the offensive coordinator. We need
We'll have to talk to Perch about that tomorrow. Yeah,
Maybe that's a good question. Can you possibly
Right.
make us a new
That should be
offensive
our lead
coordinator?
question for sure.
We just have a Perch on a stick out there doing our OC job, or up in the booth in the chair.
Right.
You put like a broom with a monitor on it, and that'll be your offensive coordinator. On that quarterback show, they had Kirk Cousins says he's been doing this for years. He put these electrodes around his head, and they measure his brain waves or something like that. And it was weird. It was weird. All you see is like brain waves on the thing, and it's supposed to help him improve something. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Crazy.
That was freaking. The funny thing is, I mean, the Vikings had an amazing season last season, and obviously the emphasis was the show was the quarterbacks and Kirk Cousins, and it's like, bro, if it wasn't for Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins would have been nothing. I mean, Kirk Cousins just throws the ball anywhere, and Justin Jefferson makes these amazing plays, and it's
does.
what a great throw! It's like
he's out there somewhere.
Justin Jefferson's out there somewhere. I'll just throw it somewhere. So, but yeah, that is a cool show. All right, guys. Oh, it's just oh my goodness! I'm so glad that football is back.
Yeah.
Oh.
My life has improved that much more. So excited.
Truly.
I'm gonna try to go to St. Vincent probably in a week or two, and I don't know. It's not. I'm not gonna learn anything, but still, it's
fun to go.
It's fun to go. But man, it's so at least last year was so crowded. You gotta I think it starts at 2:00 or something like that. You gotta get there like 2 or 3 hours before.
Oh yeah, way ahead of time.
It's
like a Taylor
insane.
Swift concert.
Kinda. It is kind of like a Taylor Swift concert. Except except instead of hearing songs, you're watching punt return drills.
Right, yeah.
Right.
You're hearing the thud as
Maybe you'll
punt
get there
hits
for
the
backs
ball.
on backers.
Right, yeah.
That's a good day to go.
That's fun.
Yes.
That's fun. Yeah,
that's
they
a fun
do.
day to go.
What do they call it? Seven drills. What is that?
7
What
on
is that?
7 or
7 on something
on
like
7.
that, or
Yeah.
so those are fun. Those are
Yeah.
there's certain things that are fun, but a lot of it is, ooh, let's practice punts. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Fun though. I mean, it's it's football, even though it's not real. I mean, it's
I
not
know.
it's real, but you know what I mean. It's something. It's something.
It's
to,
fun.
It's
It's
put in
just
our
fun.
veins until
Yes.
September.
Yes.
Yes.
The red zone guy, the NFL red zone, Scott Hansen, he's like, hey, would you like to see if we did like videos of training camps around the league? And I'm like, yeah. Heck
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind seeing like the good plays from training camps. Yeah,
That would be
do it.
awesome. Yeah,
For
I'd like
sure.
to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a way for people, even nobody can be there for all of it unless you're a reporter. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's
Right.
there for all of it. Like, I don't know any fans that make it to every day. So
Mhm.
it's a good way and even if you get there, you can't always see everything. So it's
Mhm.
nice to be able to have something like that helps to.
it is very confusing,
It is.
especially now that there's like 100 players there. It's like,
Right.
oh, who's 63? I don't know who these. It's like,
But there's like 3 people wearing 35 or something.
Right,
Right,
yeah, that's what I was
right.
gonna say.
What
There's
the hell is
there's a
that?
lot of players
Right.
wearing the same number, and it's like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah,
I know.
hey, 74 made a good play. Who's, I don't know.
right. Which one?
You got to look
There's
at
like 5 of them out there.
Yeah, seriously.
Right. Yeah. That was how it
Um,
was the last time I was there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is, but it's still cool. So you gotta battle the bugs though. You gotta bring bug spray if you go to St.
Yeah.
Vincent. The bugs will eat you alive.
Yeah, we live in Florida, so we have it brought in by the pallet.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was funny on that Rayford Apollo chat. They said, what happens if it gets too hot? And Rayford Apollo said, well, if it gets over 90, Tomlin shuts it down and they all go to Sandcastle to have fun. He's like, what are you talking about? He loves when it's hot.
Right. That's the whole point.
Right.
It's
You want
August.
it. You want it hot as heck. You want,
Yeah.
you want people dropping like flies because you want to
Right.
see
Yeah, it's
who
miserable.
can handle it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
Meant to
that
be
at the
miserable.
beginning of the season for at least a
It
month,
is.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
depending on where you go, sometimes longer if you're playing in Miami or
I was
Jacksonville.
gonna say, God
or-
forbid you play a game down here and the beginning of the season. It's
Mhm.
that hot right now. We're having
Right.
like heat waves down here,
Right.
Mhm.
like
Right.
record heat,
Yeah.
even for
Right.
Florida.
A cold day in Florida is 95.
Right, exactly. Yes.
That's
yeah.
like,
I'm putting on my
oh.
jacket if it's
Right.
93 degrees outside.
But that is the other cool thing about St. Vincent is they stick those players in like crappy dorms.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
guess
they do.
Yeah.
a lot of places they don't even go somewhere for training camp. They just do it at their facility or whatever, and
Facility.
everything's all wonderful. And not in St. Vincent. You got a crappy dorm, the same as any freshman or something like that. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
I would hear these stories about all these rookies looking forward to going to Latrobe, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're
Really?
not? Like, you have no idea.
You have
No
you
idea.
haven't heard
No
anything
idea.
yet.
Right.
Yeah. No idea what you're in for.
I don't know if they do. I don't think they do this anymore. But the first day of training camp, that everybody would bring their TVs
Oh yeah.
and their and their video game
Like
systems
mini
or something.
fridges and their video game
Right.
systems. Terrence Garvin was just talking about this on Arthur Moat's show, how when, because he was undrafted, he said, so he didn't have like the money the other players had, and he had no idea. No one told him. So he showed up to Latrobe. He's like, I had like a twin bed that was like the size of a cot. He's like, with like no sheets or blankets or anything. He said, I was down at Walmart after practice trying to buy myself pillows and blankets. He said, there's no TV, no refrigerator. He's like, and I'm here like on a budget. He said, trying to figure out what I can afford to do. He said, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. He said he had no idea it was going to be like that. He's like, it was worse than college.
If he went up to like one of those, like, can I sleep with you tonight? I don't have a bed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he said you had to pay if you wanted like a bigger bed brought in, like, you'd have to bring your own TV and all that stuff. And I know I've heard those stories. They used to always have the pictures of the players carrying, like you said, all their stuff in on the first day, which is hysterical. But I love it. I think it's good for them. I think it's good team building,
Exactly.
Builds character.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like level the playing field a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's in the same conditions. Nobody's hopping in their fancy car to drive back to their giant mansion or whatever. You're all kind of on the same level.
And yeah, and that eliminates all the distractions. You go back home and you're dealing with your wife, kids, whatever. You're stuck in that dorm. There's no other. There's nothing else.
Drama from your friends. You know what I mean? Especially for those young guys that still want to like show off for their friends and stuff. I think it's just get them all separated from that. It's good.
Total team building activity. Yeah. I would love if someday they did Hard Knocks in Pittsburgh. That would be
it's
so
gonna have to
cool.
happen at some point. They're not going to be able.
They're going to make them. They got to make them at some point.
At some point, they will.
I don't think so.
Don't they have? I mean, at some point they will have to. Doesn't every team have to do it?
No. I just did an article about this. There's rules. If you there's different ways you can opt out as long as you have a winning season, and there's like all kinds of different rules. And so the Steelers always manage to fall in the parameter because the biggest one for them is that you have a winning season.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can say that you don't want to do it. And they're supposed to ask you. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. Now, I suppose if we had a terrible season, maybe then they could make us, like the NFL could make us maybe.
Right.
Like
I thought that there was some way.
Who's the team that's doing it right now?
The Jets. And that's the thing. So the Jets were like, no.
The coach doesn't want to do it again. He didn't want to do it again. And somebody else, I don't know if it was the owner, maybe somebody overrode him, or the NFL, I don't know which, but they overrode him because they figured there would be like lots of good drama there. But
if everyone says no, you got to pick somebody. It's like, oh, somebody got to do it.
Yeah. Right. But it's not like an NFL thing. So, I mean, to me, I don't understand, like, if nobody applied to go on Big Brother, they wouldn't have a season of Big Brother, and they're not going to go out and like force citizens to participate in his show. So, like, if nobody wants to do it, I don't understand. It's not an NFL, like, saying, you know what I mean? It's not the NFL putting it on. So how can they make you?
And the team gets to decide what goes on the show. If there's something, if there's something that they're airing that they don't like, they say, no, you're not showing this. So I don't know what the problem is. It's mostly fluff.
I didn't know that. I thought what I read was that one of the things that was hard, like from a player perspective, is you have like people that are like, the worst moment of their life, they're getting cut from the team and like that's being aired, Roosevelt Nix talks about that. He got cut for the first time on the first season of Hard Knocks, and humiliating for him. He was humiliated, and then they air it and everybody sees it, and it just sucks, So like, to me, if you want to do the silly fun stuff, like Shannon Sharp and the guys goofing off or whatever, like when they were with the Ravens, like that stuff, I think that's all fun and games, team meetings and things like that. But like the interpersonal drama, like the guys getting cut stuff, I don't think they should show that stuff.
Yeah. That's not cool. This is their lives.
Right. It's their job.
This is their entire career, what they've been trying to go for since they were little kids. And half of there's like 90 players, almost half of them are going to be told, that's it, you're done, your journey's over, your career's over. Maybe that's why the criticism of Tom was, he only does winning seasons. Maybe he just has winning seasons just to avoid being on Hard Knocks.
Just to avoid Hard Knocks.
That's why he did that Minka Fitzpatrick trade. It's like, Ben went down. I better do something.
I don't want to be in Hard Knocks. Let's trade for Minka.
He's in the locker room like, look, guys, you do it for each other and you do it so we don't go on Hard Knocks.
That's right.
Yeah.
You want a camera up your butt? You better get out there and do well. All right. Guys, thanks so much. It was great
way to end the show.
Great way to end the show. You want a camera up your butt?
Right.
Yeah.
See you
Great
guys.
talking to you guys again. Everybody, watch House of Yinzer. Go listen. Subscribe to the House of Yinzer.
House of Yinzer. Follow us on X.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.